Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and this is a video to my cousin who is preparing to go to Bible school, and I think it's the best thing for her. And I'm gonna kind of sound like a Christian in this video and use Christian metaphors to help her out in some way. She's trying to raise money. She doesn't know if she's gonna be able to get the money to go, and I've been helping her out in any way that I can. We've visited some schools and things, but this is gonna be an encouragement video in case she can't get in, and to me it doesn't matter, simply because you can continue to do a positive thing for your community by justice and mercy, which was talked about quite a bit in the Tanakh, or Old Testament. And when the law code back in the day, lawgivers were huge figures in many nations, not only in Judaism, but they were looked up to because they brought some form of justice and cohesiveness to the nation, whatever nation that might be. But I kind of wanted to talk about justice and illumination, because I think that part of doing the work that you want to do, even if you didn't get into school, Christians see Christ as being a embodiment of light, and an embodiment of illumination, and an embodiment of justice, whereas Old Testament God was seen in that way also. But I believe you're a Trinitarian. Anyways, the illumination, allowing the Christ to illuminate you before men, and if you do a video on, or a search on light, kind of like "Ye are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, or neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light to everybody that's in the house." Like Matthew 5 talks quite a bit about that. Like, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." But you can do all of that through justice and mercy. And probably one of my favorite verses is Micah 6:8, "For it is shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, and love mercy, and walk humbly with your God." And you can do that just by looking around your neighborhood and passing that on. And a lot of times, the organization or the orthodox will not be that person enabling you to do that. So people will always act like people. So if you pursue justice and mercy, and pursue the light rather than the darkness, life rather than death, you yourself will become this kind of candle. It sounds kind of mystical, maybe, but there's a lot to be said about it. And you look at the speech of Zacharias in Matthew, or maybe it's Luke, when he holds the baby Christ in holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. "And thou, child, shall be called the prophet of the highest, for thou shalt go before the face of the Lord, prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people by remission of sins, through the tender mercy of our God, whereby the day spring hath visited us, to give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death. So there we have kind of like Plato's cave, where people were sitting in the cave and they couldn't look behind them. You find this idea in the idea of the Republic, Plato's Republic. They're chained, and all they can see is shadows on the wall. Then one person goes up into the light and turns around maybe and sees everything and tries to come back and explain it to everybody. And then they're persecuted for it. But how to not get persecuted for it is to come back and let your eyes adjust and readjust yourself to their situation, and through justice and mercy show them and enlighten them. And then you come to the idea of which is what I think is the whole mission in Matthew 25, where the parable of the king preparing the kingdom and who inherits the kingdom in that beautiful message. Then the king shall say to them on his right hand, Come ye, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you in the foundation of the world. For I was hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. In prison, and you came unto me. Then the righteous answered him, saying, Lord, when was it when we seen thee hunger and fed thee, thirsty gave you drink? When we saw thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we you sick in prison, and come to you? And the king answered and said unto them, I say unto you, inasmuch as you've done it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you've done it to me. So, I think that's the gist of the whole thing, both in Judaism and in Christianity. The whole message. It's not exactly converting somebody to think like you, but it's doing those things, pursuing justice and mercy. And Orthodox, as I said before, will not help you do that. You have to embody those virtues yourself. And if you can't go to Orthodox for help, who did it? The Samaritan. You go to the Samaritan, who did good for goodness sake. That parable, I think, is found in Luke 10, where there's a Samaritan, and he's seen one who was robbed and beaten alongside the road, and he was moved with compassion. And he came to him, bound up his wounds, pouring oil and some wine on it. Then he sent him on his own donkey and took him to the inn and took care of him. And the next day he just left. And he gave the host some money, and he said, if there's any other expenses, let me know. So he didn't even ask any questions. And then Jesus asked a very good question. Now which of these do you think seemed to be a neighbor unto him who fell among the robbers? And they answered him and said, He who showed mercy on him. Then Jesus said to them, Go and do likewise. So this more than ever, rather than learning theology, learning soteriology, or the study of salvation, and learning all the mystical stuff that ends up in Paul, embodying the truth, justice, mercy, leads to an embodiment of light. And you can light your candles and shine before men, but by doing those things, no matter if you believe or not, and going and doing likewise, will get you to that point where people will be able to see you, and doing as much, being the least, and pursuing those virtues, you'll be the highest among men and women. So best of luck. I just wanted to give you some encouragement. I know I don't believe in a lot of theology and all that, but using the metaphors, it's a very powerful view. And if you don't make it this year, maybe next year, but I would encourage you to continue to working in your community as you've been doing justice and loving mercy. Take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.